Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a guest with 5 years experience in positive psychology.
So that makes her no noob into actually changing mindsets. Now she has dedicated her life to actually helping people understand the power of the mind. Today we have Stephanie Gotch.
Classes in session.
Hey.
I would get in the room, you guys, and I would ask questions that no one is willing to ask. And
Willing to ask or willing to answer?
No, willing to ask.
Okay, go.
Right? And I'm just trying to figure out, are people scared of being, I would say, the person that doesn't look smart? Right? And I'm going, why? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know anything, and why is it a bad thing for someone to change your mind and to change your opinion? Like, everybody is stuck in, I would say, their own lane and their own beliefs that they're going, no, I got to die with this. Right?
Okay.
And they're nervous about asking certain questions and getting the right answers, that they won't ask the questions at all. And I never have been that person. Even in the classroom, I will, raise my hand knowing that I kind of know the concept of algebra, but I just want to be sure.
I think that's where you benefit from not going, like you don't go to college and stuff, because I think that's where we're taught. We kind of talked about this previously. It's like in school and through college. So for 23 years, you're taught to raise your hand, be quiet, and you get rewarded for the right answer, not the wrong answer. So that's why even today, and when I'm consulting, when you're asking questions, no, like if you're in meetings, people don't. If you ask a question, how many people pipe up? And I'm always the one sent these dumb questions because I don't care how I look. But it takes time because 23 years of just saying, hey, raise your hand. And if you don't get it right.
Well, and you're almost like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Crucified. If you ask the wrong question or answer it the incorrect way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Professors will, they'll just berate you in front of 300 other people, right?
Right.
No one wants that.
Yeah, it's not about education. It's about grade.
But how do we grow if we
ask the question?
Right. So if I have a question and I can't ask it, because everyone is going to look at me like, oh, look at the dumb guy in the class, or look at the dumb guy in the group. Then how do we grow? Because I might just have a different, I would say, view on the topic. They may be the changing factor of how that question is answered.
Well, when I say that, if you're the one person asking, especially now, I'm like, you're the bravest. Like that's where that's one of those small indications where you learn bravery. But I mean, it's still today, I don't know. But that's where I think you're the most brave. So it's like but you have to learn that. It's like, hey, when I do that, I'm like, hey, I was the bravest one of the bunch, so I don't care about looking dumb. But I don't know where you learn that to not care.
Okay, well, let's break that down, right? On a fundamental core level, what you're actually discussing is judgment.
Yeah. Good.
Right.
So you're asking, why don't people ask the question? And the answer is very easy. It's because they're going to be judged. So it's actually fear of judgment that stops people from asking those questions, which is interesting because if you just ask the question and then you actually get the answer, right? Because hopefully you're in a room with people smarter than you. That's always my goal, right?
Always the goal.
So somebody gives you that answer, now you're smarter, right?
Right.
But people don't do it because they have a fear of judgment. So in order to have people overcome that, the key is to figure out that people aren't really judging you, they're judging themselves. So there's a trick. There's something called the 5-second rule. Have you guys heard this from Mel Robbins, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a question and you ask it, it pops in your head within 5 seconds, you ask the question. If you wait longer than 5 seconds, you'll never ask it because now your brain's going to judge you. And your brain is there to keep you safe. The whole point of your brain is to keep you safe and comfortable. It doesn't want you outside the comfort zone because back in the day, that would mean you're dead, right? That's caveman days, right? And it was for survival. Now we don't need to survive.
We need to
saber-toothed tigers and things, right? Like we need to be able to thrive. Exactly. So on a fundamental level, why people don't ask is because they're afraid of being judged.
But see, I don't see we moving forward as a culture if we don't ask the hard questions.
The greatest thing about this podcast right now is that you're putting it out into a light where people who wouldn't ask the questions can now.
See, because I have beliefs, but I'm not scared to change my beliefs. If you can give me an honest, legit answer on why I should.
You have an open mindset about it.
Exactly. And I want people to understand that that is what moves culture.
Yeah,
That is what creates wealth. That is what I would say brings happiness into your life, is allowing your brain to open up and take on information, new concepts, new visions, new, I would say, input. But people are just scared to even ask.
But it's hard. It's hard to teach that. But I think people watch you. There's so many people watching you. You have no
Yes.
idea.
Yes.
So if it's your kids, your wife, your family, like if you're not afraid to say the dumb thing or just not be judged, they'll learn like that's okay too. I can fail and stuff like that. So I think it's less about actively teaching, but it's just doing it. And again, you have eyes on you all the time, and they'll see
Being
it.
the example.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you allow yourself to be the example, you allow other people to step into that light. You give people permission to do what you're doing, right? And I think that's one of the greatest responsibilities, especially as you grow in this, and especially as you grow in your community. You have that responsibility, right? To
Mhm.
be the greatest you so that other people can step into that light and be their greatest version of themselves. But you do it by example. They're not listening to your words. They don't care about your words. But they see you ask a question, right? And somebody's like, dude, Jay, you should know the answer to that, blah, blah, blah. And they, right?
Mhm.
Then they can ask the next question. They don't have to be fearful of that because you're rolling with it.
Mhm.
Now, if you get all upset, pissed off, and shy the next time, won't ask the question, then they see that if you ask it and you get the wrong answer, then you're not going to do it the next time, right?
Mhm.
But you give people that ability to do what you're doing.
So thanks for watching, you guys. If you appreciate the content,
Like and subscribe.
hey, class dismissed.
Yeah.
I know. Let's see how that looks. You're stupid as hell.
Let's just see if we was in first.